Hi, Ben.
Why, if it isn't my good friend Chris.
Yes, and we are doing another mini-sode.
What's going on today, Chris?
Well, I have been doing a lot of scrolling on Facebooks and on the Twitters,
Did you say
and
scrolling or squirreling?
I probably, well, hopefully scrolling. What does scrolling mean, Ben?
I don't know, but it sounded like squirreling, and I was like, what is squirreling?
Well, definitely scrolling. Gonna
Okay,
make that call right now.
good
Um,
call.
and I'm kind of I don't know I'm a member of a Facebook group. It's a private group called Comic Silver Age.
Ah,
Um, and it's I'm on the fringe, so I don't really participate in a lot of the discussion on it. But I do enjoy seeing some of the comic book covers that they put on there.
yeah,
They post a lot of pictures from comics.
right.
And there's one gentleman here, and I don't know if he's the artist of these or if he's finding them somewhere. Um, but they are really gotten my attention. They're really great. They are comic book character cover kind of deals, but instead of like a poster for a movie would be
Uh huh.
like comic book movies, but instead of modern actors, they have some classic actors. So I'm looking at one right now, a movie about the Joker starring Danny Kaye and Shirley MacLaine as Harley Quinn.
Ooh,
So I think that's really kind of cool. And I've seen a few of these posters, and I wanted to ask you, Ben, if you had to make a movie of a comic book character, who would you cast? But it has to be in the earlier, let's say, early 50 years of the 20th century. So you couldn't
ooh,
couldn't go past 19. Well, we'll make it 1960. You can't go past 1960.
that's interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah. Um, gosh, that's really different from what people usually do. People usually say, "Who would you cast in your version of Batman?" or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
I actually
With
am going to do because we've talked about in the past The Bat, which is a silent movie
yeah.
that kind of is credited with inspiring Batman in some level.
Some levels. Yeah.
Um I would like to see a silent Batman movie because I think the sort of special creepiness that silent movies have would
Hmm.
lend well to it.
Yeah.
And for my star, who do I want for my star? Maybe Lionel Barrymore?
Ooh, you're really kicking it old school right now, man.
Yeah, I thought I'd try for something really far something really pre-Silver Age.
Yeah. So much so. Let me Google. You said Lionel Barrymore?
Yeah, so there's Lionel Barrymore senior, who is a silent movie star. He's best known as Mr. Potter in It's a Wonderful Life
Yeah,
the
I
villain
just
of the piece.
very familiar with his later works. I just kind of wanted to see what he looked like in his young days as a potential Batman. That
I
would
could
be
see him
interesting.
as kind of a Bruce Wayne playboy type. I'm looking at some pictures of him right now.
Okay. Yeah. Very young Lionel Barrymore.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's what springs to mind. Of course, I would have loved to have seen a kind of like Dirty Dozen style. Well, this is probably too late since Dirty Dozen was more late '60s, '66, I think.
Hmm.
But that sort of style ensemble, um, John or Preston Sturges type action movie with an ensemble cast version of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
I think that would be really interesting. I'm not sure who I would cast
Right.
from that time. I'd have to think about it.
I actually, when you say Dirty Dozen, I think much more of Suicide Squad
Oh yeah, true.
than maybe Guardians.
Yeah, good
That's
point.
interesting. So,
Did you have one?
I didn't. I've been looking at these pictures, I think, and I think I probably would just crib them and or steal from them too much.
What are the examples that they have, just so our listeners have an idea? I know you
See,
said
so
Shirley MacLaine as Harley Quinn.
as Harley Quinn with Danny Kaye as Joker,
Oh,
one
right, yeah,
here.
because he was the court jester.
Yeah. Let me see if I can throw. Okay, yeah. Oh, this is a good one. Hellboy, and starring Humphrey Bogart and Peter Lorre.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. So Bogey as Hellboy.
Humphrey Bogart's
Uh,
a very different type from the last actor who played Hellboy.
yeah. Um, that's true. Although I think I like that idea of the kind of that hard-boiled kind of detective
Yeah.
take on it. I think that's a good way to go about it.
Who would be a good classic Deadpool?
Classic Deadpool.
Yeah, someone who's kind of subversive and maverick, and
Hmm.
but from the
There's
golden age of Hollywood.
somebody who's would be somebody funny.
Yeah.
But what do you think of Cary Grant? I know that's a really kind of off the wall
I was
take
thinking
on
of
it.
Cary Grant too, but it feels like a bit of a stretch
Maybe
for
too
him
much of a
to.
stretch.
He's a little bit too elegant. Deadpool's kind of like
It Deadpool's a very modern character.
yeah, that's
Uh,
true.
that would be I don't know. It's hard to kind of have that Hollywood glam
Maybe
and then
like
put it on him.
Jimmy Cagney,
Jimmy Cagney.
kind of like tough, fast talking.
Maybe that's an interesting take on it. Maybe.
Maybe
How
I'm reaching
about
here.
how about Paul Newman as Captain America?
Yeah, I could see that. Or a young James Stewart could be Captain America.
Yeah.
Kind of has that innocence.
Here's a poster that I found. They have William Powell as Doctor Strange.
Ooh, very interesting. Very
That is an,
interesting.
it is interesting here.
What an interesting alternate universe. And what's this group called again, so that I can join and
it's
our listeners can
it's
join also if they're
it's
interested?
called Comic Silver Age. I don't know the requirements that you have to join. I think I told them I just really like comics. Sometimes they have a little questionnaire, and basically, and then let me in. So
Very cool.
it is really quite cool. My only drawback is that I can't share any of these pictures. They're only for the group.
Yeah.
But they're really quite interesting posters using classic movie actors. So yeah, that's what I've been kind of thinking about.
Yeah, that's a whole. My brain is spinning now with possibilities. It'd be fun to see if we go back and talk about movie serials, which I know we've talked about doing potentially.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to watch some of the superhero ones, like Captain Marvel. I know was a serial.
hmm
Batman, of course, had two.
Yeah, I've actually watched one of the Batman ones. It's very interesting interesting period piece, I guess. You have to really take it for the time period that it was in.
Yeah. Is it when you say that, do you mean it's politically incorrect, or do you mean that it's just kind of it hasn't
It's
aged well?
it's terribly racist.
Oh,
So
very sad.
it
Was it during World War
is,
II?
It is during World War II. So
Okay,
he's fighting the Japanese.
that's
So
sad.
so it is terribly racist. But so you have to when you watch it, you have to take that into account of it.
Yeah, that's we could do more than a mini-sode, but a full episode about what do we do with all these politically incorrect or racially insensitive programs, films, books. How do we deal with those as far as like you think about the classic debate of Huck Finn in schools and
I mean, one now I think is getting a lot of heat is Gone with the Wind.
right, yeah.
Um, and of course, there was a podcast series. Oh, I forget. It's one that you and I both listened to. But she did a whole series on Song of the South,
Right.
which was very interesting.
Are you thinking of You Must Remember This?
That's it. You must remember this.
Yeah.
I listened to that whole series.
We've recommended them several times
Yeah,
on the podcast. They do an excellent job. Karina Longworth is the host.
that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Great podcast if you're interested in classic Hollywood history.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is interesting.
So something to think about. Let us know what your thoughts are and what comic book characters you would re-envision with classic Hollywood cast. Would you cast Judy Garland? There's so many options. Betty Davis. So many options to cast.
Katharine Hepburn.
What superhero would Katharine Hepburn be? Send us
It's
an email.
Wonder Woman, right
Wonder
there.
Woman,
That's
nice.
got to be it.
Nice.
Anyway, I'm sorry, interrupting you.
So many ideas. popstorian@gmail.com. Let us know. We'll read it out on the show.
We're also at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Yes. So thanks very much for listening. And go in peace.